yes, if there is an opportunity to discuss, we will discuss the political questions that Dr. Kizza Besigye's health continues to be of serious concern. I visited him 2 times last week, and he told me that he has developed a reaction to his prison conditions, an allergic reaction that causes him to cough endlessly. He loses energy and loses the ability to speak. This is of concern. We have continued to ask for bail 4 times. It is denied. Bail can be granted to an ADF leader, a self-declared rebel group in Congo. Its leader, Jamil Mukuru, was captured, was given bail. But Besigye, who is a peaceful political leader, is denied bail. The charges against Dr. Besigye are political. The charges, flimsy charges against the leaders who have been held, who are still being held, like the NUP deputies, Lina Zedriga, Jacqueline Kamshaba, are political. The charges probably that they would bring against all these more than 600 people they are holding will be political. So it's a political question. And yes, we want that political issues are settled on the table through negotiation, not by imprisonment, by torture, by violence. People disagree with the government about. Members of the press, thank you for coming to meet me. I called you today to let you know and to help me inform the people of Uganda, especially those here in Kampala, that on Monday, 23rd, at 2 p.m., we will gather at Rubaga Cathedral, and the Archbishop of Kampala Diocese, His Grace Paul Semogedere, will lead us in a Holy Mass to pray for Dr. Kizza Besigye and all prisoners and the sick in Uganda, to hold them up in prayer to God and hold up our country to God. This Holy Mass was requested by myself and my family as Christian people who follow the Roman Catholic faith, but it is for all Ugandans. It is intended to unite all of us in our different religions, Anglican, Muslim, Orthodox, or even those without religion. It is meant to unite us all before God. It is also meant to bring together all the families that are suffering today, who have people who are missing since this election, and for even years. There are some who've been missing for even up to 6-7 years. It is for those families whose family members are in prison, many times without charge, for many years, 15 years. I met one man in prison. It is for suffering families whose loved ones have been taken away. Yesterday, I asked the Secretary General of NUP, David Louis Bongoya, to give me a list of families, of names of people who are missing or in prison from among their supporters. I was expecting to get maybe a list of 30 names, or if many, 50 names, so that I take them to this Mass and we pray for them, we read them. I got a list of more than 600 people. And he said to me that the list is longer. It keeps growing every day. There are people they don't know yet who are missing. So it is a crisis in our country. We are coming together to pray at a time of crisis. This is not normal. The thing is that the violence, the militarism, the misogyny, the hatred and abuse of women has been going on and continues to be normalized. We are coming to pray to say that this is not right, this is not normal, we want it to change. We want a peaceful country, a democratic country. You see, since we started these elections and Dr. Besigye decided to run, the first time he ran, 2001, after that election, he fled into exile. He spent 5 years in exile. That was not normal. The next election, 2006, for that one, he spent half the campaigning time in prison, facing the same charges he's facing today, treason, even rape was there. Half the time in the presidential election, the main candidate was in prison. That was not normal. The next election, the third one, 2011, he was assaulted. I had to take leave from my job in New York to come here to evacuate him to Nairobi to be treated after he was physically assaulted, almost made blind. That was not normal. Should I go on? The fourth election. He was held here after the election, prisoner in his own home, unable to step outside for months. We had to fight and fight and fight for him to be able to step out and be normal. That was not normal. Now see this young man, Robert Kyagulanyi. He comes out of an election and has to flee, hide. Finally, now we have heard him speaking from Geneva. He runs away. His wife, Barbara Itungo, is assaulted in her home. And the head of the army proudly displays a picture of her in a humiliating position, sitting and crawling on her bare floor, her house ransacked, and a soldier over her head. She told a painful story of her humiliation, sexual assault, pulling off her clothes and leaving her exposed in front of tens of soldiers. She fell unconscious, had to be hospitalized. This is after an election. These are not elections. The whole world is condemning them now. The violence, the fraud, the intimidation and threats, the humiliation. So these are not normal things. Our country is not in a good state. I chose to go to pray because that's how I was raised, to take problems to the Creator and to come together with others to find solutions. That's the purpose of this Mass. It is done. Dr. Besigye's health continues to be of serious concern. I visited him 2 times last week, and he told me that he has developed a reaction to his prison conditions, an allergic reaction that causes him to cough endlessly. He loses energy and loses the ability to speak. That's why when some people go to see him, he's unable to meet them. He goes very low on energy and his voice goes. This is of concern. We have continued to ask for bail 4 times. It is denied. Bail can be granted to an ADF leader, a self-declared rebel group in Congo. Its leader, Jamil Mukuru, was captured, was given bail. But Besigye, who is a peaceful political leader, is denied bail. We continue to ask for bail because those conditions in jail continue to undermine his health, to make him weaker and weaker. And unless the threats of General Muhoozi are really their intention, and I now believe that that is his intention, to kill Dr. Kizza Besigye, then this is a plan to continue weakening him in jail and end his life. We are concerned. We are concerned about the continued threats to his life, concerned about denial of bail, and his weakening as he continues to live under those miserable conditions, as well as isolation. He's not allowed also to talk with other prisoners or to step outside his little. He's contained in a small cell. He can't go and play football with others. He can't pray in church with others. He cannot even walk through others and greet and shake hands with another prisoner. He's guarded 24 hours by General Muhoozi himself and his soldiers, because that prison is a prisoner. He's a prisoner under Uganda prisons, but I also know that in the prison itself are military men guarding him. When he steps out, they follow him. When he was at the clinic, they were there. I tried to confront one of them to ask them, why are you here? You are not a prison officer. He ran, and I took her picture of her back as she was running. So it's a situation where he's a captive of the army under General Muhoozi and General Museveni, and they are aware that his conditions are hurting him, but they want him to keep suffering. They want him dead.
When you speak to him, what?
Dr. Besigye's message to Ugandans is to stand together and be united. To be united in claiming their rights, human rights, and their rights to democratic governance. He wants us to be united and not to be afraid. Fear is what those who want to govern us by force, by violence, use. So he wants us not to be afraid, to come forward and unite and demand our rights peacefully. This is his message, and that's why I thank very much His Grace Archbishop Paul Semogerere for agreeing to lead this prayer, which is a personal request from a family member. This is the practice in our church, but knowing that this is an unusual prisoner who represents political ideas and is right now not free because of his political views. So that courage to step forward is what he's asking from us. Direction. Our national budget is not mainly funded externally. No. It's mainly funded by the money raised from Ugandans through taxation. That is where most of our money comes from. Yes, government also borrows externally, and the grants, free money, gifts have become fewer and fewer. So that is how our budget is. It is of concern how that budget, that money collected from poor Ugandans is spent. Remember, the majority of our people are very poor. But that money, when you see how the government spends it after collecting it from very poor people, it's a sad story. So much of it is spent on the political class. You see these politicians and their big cars and their fat allowances and their wasteful ways of life funded from the taxpayer. Then you have also a number of other political people who are not even elected but who are shady. They are called advisors. They are also holding ministerial positions with a lot of money given out to them. So there's a political class that keeps increasing its emoluments, and that's taking from the poor person who doesn't have salt. But when they go to buy salt, they are taxed, right? Then there's a lot of money spent on a large army and security apparatus. Those are the ones who torture us, who beat us, who strip women, who go on social media and proudly drive intimidating messages at us. They are paid for by the taxpayer. They are paid for by this woman who sells tomatoes in the market after she has been taxed. So that's a whole security apparatus that is deep in the villages. They have spies in every village. All those are being paid money from our taxes. So it's a lot of money spent in wrong ways that could be back in the clinics paying for mothers, pregnant mothers. That's money which should pay for kids in school. Last night I was accepting to work with some friends of mine to pay for a little girl who has passed her P7 and got 6, aggregate 6, accepted in Maryhill, but no fees. Why should there be kids who are not paid for by the government in secondary school? Because the money is going towards a security apparatus to oppress us, not to empower and not to educate our children. So yes, we should ask questions about that budget. And wait, see these politicians, the speaker and her MPs, they will arrive and ask for an increase and they will give it to themselves. These are sad things. This is a denial of life. Because when we don't have doctors who are well paid, there are many doctors in this country unemployed. The government cannot pay them and send them to Karamoja and send them to Kisoro to work for our people. They will not pay them, but they will overpay politicians and soldiers. Misplaced priorities.